computer.
All right, everybody, we're here. Contract to close training. We have Anabel Garcia. Just to let you know, we got very, very, very lucky to have her part of the team. She comes with thousands. I think we tried to do a number once, Anabel. We're trying to see how many closings a month you did, but over 1,000 transaction coordinations. And, you know, we say the word transaction coordinator so you guys can see the term, what it is, but in reality is it allows, she does everything for you. Once you get under contract, she gets the, I mean, I'll let her explain it, and there's a lot more she does, but getting you to even get paid where normally transaction coordinators don't do that service. But I was like, Anabel, if we're going to do it, I know you're going to be more effective and get a lot more agents to join and use this service to, you know, to make their lives easier. I'm hoping, Rick, I'm going to send him a text later on, so maybe you could give a little bit of testimonial, but to, I'm going to quote him. That, man, you know, like what I'm able to do, the more business I'm able to write. Ever since I added a transaction coordinator, all I do is I go to the street, do work, get deals ready, find my buyer, door knock. And when I get them under contract, you know, and this is a person, Rick, that has closed 13, 14, 15 files in a month. And I'll say right before Anabel, the most I ever saw him close in a month was probably 6, 7, or 8. And I'm not just saying it. Now, he had a month. There was a day that he closed 7 files, and that week was like 11. You know, Rick being one of our top producers in Jersey. I know we're going to have some Jersey individuals, and Anabel is going to be suited for Jersey. She just got to learn some of the docs and the attorney reviews. So I know we have some Jersey family here, Anabel, and that's something we're going to touch on to launch next week. But guys, this is something that just allows you to focus on growing your business and not worrying about the little minor things. You let Anabel worry. She has a software for that. So without much further ado, Anabel, we're lucky and blessed to have you. Thank you so much for having this training. And guys, listen in on how you're going to be able to grow your business and do your business right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What a great intro. So yes, guys, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Anabel, the transaction coordinator for Lifestyle. And just a little bit of what I do. Basically, once you have an executed contract, you send it over to me, and I'll be able to take over from the beginning to the end. And by taking over, basically, I'll make sure that you're not missing any initials, any signatures. I'll highlight all the important dates and include all parties involved in the transaction, like the lender, the title company, the other agents. So everyone is on the same page as far as all the dates on the contract, and throughout the transaction, I'll be following up with all parties. Also, you don't have to worry about, you know, drafting up addendums. You don't have to worry about any other paperwork. From then on, I'll take over. Also, your transaction desk, that's where you go to get paid. There's a lot of documents that you have to upload in there, and I also do that for you. So that's less things that, you know, that you have to do. You don't have to worry about any dates. You don't have to worry about missing your client's deposit for any reason. I'll basically be there to help you from beginning to end. For the newer agents, I also like to tell them that if they want to send me the contract before they send it to the other agent, you can send it over to me so I can review it for you, so that you're not missing anything. Because then it'll get, you know, if you have anything wrong, then you have to like do an addendum, correct it, and whatever the case may be. So
I have to pause you there because that's a huge point. And before I signed off, I was like, I wanted to make sure that, guys, that's huge. There's a lot of times, you know, that's why I send these mass texts. Like, I make sure the escrow is lower, don't risk it. Sometimes you put terms in the contract that shouldn't be done. Use that. I'm telling you, there's a lot of transaction coordinators out there, not as good, that they'll just take the deal once you have the deal under contract and just use whatever contract. They'll take the path of least resistance. So they see the contract's not right, like, whatever. I don't care if there's too much escrow risk. I don't care if the terms are bad. You gave me this contract, I'm just gonna work off it. Use Anabel to be like, hey, what do you think about this contract before I submit it? Or, hey, I went on the contract. Is everything okay? Would you change anything? You know, it's better to get her to get that offer accepted before you have to change major stuff on the contract. So let her know. But, you know, even if you didn't ask her because you're like, you know what, it was 1 a.m. I didn't want to call you, and I ended up getting it under contract at 6 a.m. She would be able to tell you, hey, listen, you know, hey, I see Guy on here. Hey, Guy, listen, you're going to have to do an addendum. It's easier to make a change at the beginning If she caught it, once you say, Annabelle, here, work my file, and Annabelle, hold on, guy, you got to change that. And before I go, I wanted even to add, being a new agent, this is going to be mandatory for you to use your first couple of deals. We haven't mandated yet. That process is going to be done by the middle of the month. But even then, she'll talk to you about more of the service. Anybody who uses Lifestyle Title, our title company, I'm paying for it. This is so important. We're paying it for you, so it doesn't come out of your pocket. Anytime you use our title company, make sure that you guys know this. I'll pay for it completely for mine, because I know how valuable this is, that I want to make sure, because I know with this, I'm not going to worry about losing escrows. I'm not going to worry about you guys forgot to do an appraisal because you're pretty new, or you forgot to do the inspection, or you forgot to apply for the association. All these headaches when you're in the middle of the deal or trying to add more deals, or you're in the middle of life, she makes sure, and that to me is peace of mind. It's well worth it. So just wanted to touch that. And go ahead, Animal. Sorry to jump in.
No worries. Thank you. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna go over a slideshow that I did so that we can go as far as from contract to, to the closing, and steps by steps of like general. Every contract is different. You have condos, you have homeowners associations, you have some that don't, some that are cash. But this is kind of like a general like a general slideshow that you'll see, but you'll see that all of them are different throughout the transactions. I'm going to share the screen right now. Hold on 1 second. Can you guys see that? Hold on 1 second. Can you see it? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, so this is kind of like a little chart that I did. I'm gonna go over every single one of these little squares here. But basically, if any of you guys want this PowerPoint later on, just let me know, I'll send it over to you. But this is like kind of like the general chart from beginning executed contract to end. I'm gonna go into detail now one by one. So an executed contract is basically once you have every signature, every initial on a contract. That means any changes that were made, both parties have to sign it initially. It doesn't mean that, just because you initial the buyer side and the seller side and the signatures on the bottom, that it's fully executed. If anything was changed throughout, like you crossed out, the purchase price or whatever the case may be, both parties have to sign, sellers and buyers, everyone that's on the contract. And then that's gonna be your effective date, whether it's a weekday or a weekend, it doesn't matter. If you all signed on a Sunday at 11:45 p.m., that's your effective date. And then, and as is contracts, all dates are calculated in calendar days. So that means that weekends do count. I get this question a lot. If the weekends count, let's say you executed the contract on Friday and you have 5 days of inspection, do they count? Yes. So you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday will be your last day. If the date lands if the date lands on a weekend or a holiday, then it jumps over to the next business day before 5 p.m. So if your inspection period lands on a Saturday, you still have until Monday before 5 p.m. to make any negotiations, ask for credits, or cancel. Okay, so the first step after you have that executed contract is to make that first escrow deposit. And usually it's with a title company that you put on the contract. So you have 3 days, again, that counts weekends. So make sure you have your buyer turn that in as soon as possible. And because if not, you don't really have a contract, and the seller can cancel and go to their next offer. So make sure that you turn in that deposit as soon as possible. Sometimes there's two, so we gotta have those dates very clear, because you have to have the first one within 3 days and the second one within whatever amount of days you put on there. So you gotta make sure that the buyer knows, and this is something I will remind you as well if you use my services, like, hey, the deposit is coming up, or the second deposit is coming up. Make sure that they make that deposit before the deadline, because if anything happens later on, you don't want them to come back at you and say, well, this, your buyer breached the contract because they didn't make the deposit on time. If you guys are already late into the deal and things happen. So I'll remind you as well, but if not, you have to make sure that they make those deposits on time. The next step is scheduling the inspections, and you should do that as soon as possible. And I also provide that for you. You just let me know, like, hey, this is the inspector that we like to use, or whoever the buyer wants to use. And then I'll schedule that for you. And you do that as soon as possible. And then after the inspection, you're gonna get the report with your buyer, and then you're gonna elect to either move forward or cancel, or you can negotiate credits, or have the seller fix items. You have to make sure that you also do this within the inspection period, because after that, then you pass that deadline. So does anybody have any questions so far?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay. This deposit money will be issued to what title company?
The title
Like-
company that you put on the contract. It's on the
Normally is the lawyers that they deal with it.
Sometimes there's a-
Suppose if I do have the buyer, right, and they issue the check, those checks should be submitted to the lawyer, right?
or the title. Are you a Florida agent or New Jersey?
New Jersey.
Yes, so that's different. In New Jersey, it's a different, I'm not too familiar, but I did hear that attorneys are usually handle the closings. In Florida, it's a bit different. In Florida, we have title companies, and attorney owned title companies, but not necessarily it has to be an attorney that holds it. Just a title company, and usually it's on the first page. But for Jersey, it's a little different. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, then you mentioned that the contract, it is good if we forward that to you, right? So shall we forward that via email or?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my information like as soon at the end of the slide, you're gonna have my information there.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So after the inspection, you guys are good to go. You have to also, during that time, for the most part, you have 5 days from the effective date to either apply to the HOA and also apply for the loan if it's financing. So if you don't put anything on the contract, the normal is 5 days. So during that time, your client also has to have the formal loan application with their lender, and also apply to the HOA if there's an HOA or a condominium. So they have 5 days to start that application process. Usually the listing agent will provide the buyer with the contact to the HOA, or sometimes we gotta, figure it out and find it. You'll be surprised how many listing agents don't know this information, but yes, it happens. So yes, you also have 5 days. I like to put on the contract for the HOA to have a little bit more time, like maybe 7 days, so that you guys can finish your inspections and move forward. Because usually to apply to the HOA, there's like a fee. And you don't want the buyer to also lose that fee if they're not gonna be moving forward with the contract. So, yes, next. All right, during this time, also, the title company will start ordering their title work. That includes the title search, the lien search, and then they'll also be ordering later on like the survey if needed, and then estoppel. And estoppel is if there is a HOA or a condominium association. You will need that in order to be able to close. And the estoppel basically is like a ledger of like what the owner owes on the HOA, and if they're backed up on any fees, if there's like any special assessments that need to be paid at closing, things like that. And it's a formal document that has to be paid. Usually it's paid by the seller, and usually, it's ordered by the seller's rep or the title company, but it's a seller charge. And basically that's what it is. And they need to have that, in order to close. So if you see that there's an HOA or a condo association, you have to make sure that this gets ordered in a timely manner, because sometimes they could take a little long to get it back to you. Also, if there's any title issues, the buyer is able to cancel if the seller cannot fix these title issues. Title issues like any liens and things like that. There's a special wording that you have to put in every contract on additional terms. That is, if there's any open or expired permits, that the seller will have to cure them. If you don't put that wording, then they can force your buyer to close with that open or expired permit, because they're not a title issue. So if there's a lien, yes, but any open or expired permits is not. So make sure you always put that in the contract as well. And then if you're representing the seller, always ask the seller if they have an attorney representation to prepare their seller docs. A lot of times agents don't know this, and they think that, oh my God, is this like an additional fee that my seller has to pay? And no, the title company, whether you use the buyer's title company, they're gonna also charge you a fee. So it's better to always have your own representation, because you're gonna get you're gonna have to pay a fee anyways. So it's better to have your own attorney representing you. You can get quotes and ask the title company how much they're charging, and then the seller's attorney how much their fee is as well. But it definitely, they usually have to have an attorney prepare their seller docs. Also, a certificate of reoccupancy. There's certain cities that require this. I know for sure, like North Miami, I think North Miami Beach and Hialeah. So if you have a property in those areas, I could get you the list later on of the cities that do require it. But basically that means that you have to apply for a reoccupancy certificate with the city, and then they will send someone out there to inspect the property. What they're looking for is like basically any illegal structures and things like that. And that could be, that could be an issue later on, but maybe it's not an issue. It depends on who you get to go out there, but it's required in order to close. So you just got to find out like what city requires this, because this could also delay the closing if you don't know, and then you're about to close and you're missing this document, and that this could take up like another week or so to get it resolved. Okay, so once you have your HOA approval, the title is clear, you already have the survey, any estoppels, all the repairs done, then you're gonna have your bank approval, and that's when you're gonna be basically clear to close. And then at that point, you're gonna do the final walkthrough, and you're gonna schedule that with the listing agent. And you could usually do this either like the day before the closing or the day of closing before you go and sign the documents. And then you also will get the final numbers from the title company to make sure that your clients, wires that amount to the bank before they go sign. So it's usually the day before, like I said, or the day of, whichever one. And then as far as the closing, you should always attend to your closings and take a gift to your clients. Make sure you ask for the executed final HUD or the CD. But before that, before the closing, make sure you review the CD, make sure the numbers are good and your commission is good. And any credits that are supposed to be there are good to go. And then at the closing, you will get the final one, which is the one that is signed by all parties. And that's basically it. This is my information in the bottom. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's my email, my direct email, my direct phone number. And you can call me or text me, whichever you prefer, or email me. Does anybody have any questions?
Anabel, this is Manuel. How are you?
Hi, Manuel. How are you?
Thank you for sharing this with us. It's extremely important. Would it be possible for you to email us the presentation?
Yes,
Is that feasible?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to have a copy. Thank you, Anabel.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Anyone else have any other questions?
So, hi. So we use your services either with the seller or the buyer, right?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did everyone get my contact information so I could stop the screen share?
Yes.
Anabel, another question.
Yes.
When we do the closing, before that, do we have to give our commission bill to our attorney? Or we just say present the bill that the percentage that we charge our client?
So usually the title company or the attorney will request like an info sheet. Sometimes they'll request a realtor info sheet, and in there you could put your percentage. Sometimes you could put it on the contract next to your name on the bottom, or you can just send them an email. But most likely they'll be asking if they don't know. They'll be asking you, reaching out to you. But yeah, you can put it on the contract, or they'll request it by email, or they'll request a form that says like, this is how much if you're charging any transaction fee or whatever the case may be.
Okay. So this invoice sheet, I get it from the office, from certain where, and in other words, where do I get this invoice sheet?
So this is, you're asking to get your commission, right?
Correct.
So to get your commission, yes, there's a form that we have. It's called the commission request form. And then it's after you have all your documents uploaded to transaction desk, you also fill out a commission request form. And then once Lifestyle receives the commission, they'll make sure you have all the documents you need to have on there. And then they'll be giving you your commission after, whether you wanted a wire or direct deposit.
Oh, no. I was asking like to give this to the attorney or to the title company.
yeah, there's not really like an invoice. Like I said, you could put your commission percentage on the either on the contract or sometimes the title company will have you fill out a form, or sometimes they just email you like, hey, what's your commission on this deal? So there's not really a specific like form.
I'll step in real quick. For Jersey, some attorneys do require a commission disbursement or a form stating how the commission is going to be dispersed. Right now, you can get that form from Karen or Chris at the office. We'll be putting it on transaction desk soon. So we'll put it on LIR Cloud and we'll be uploading it on transaction desk. That's for the Jersey agents. So for the Jersey agents, Annie, real quick, they typically always use an attorney as a title company. I know some people here also use an attorney, but Jersey's typically always using an attorney, and those attorney require a disbursement form of the commission so they understand how to put it on the HUD. That's it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, thank you, Roberto, that you give me the answer, because in my previous company, they issue a form, a disbursement form that I forward to the attorney.
Correct.
Thank
correct.
you.
And I'll bring Annie, I'll send it to you so you have it too.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, Rosa. I'm not really too familiar with Jersey, but I'll get the hang of it.
You get in there. You get in there.
That's okay. Next time I'll ask Roberto too.
Not a problem.
Roberto, you are in Jersey, right?
No, I'm back and forth, but we're here to help you guys. Annabelle's just getting her feet wet with Jersey, but she'll be up to speed very soon, and it's just a matter of time before she gets it and understands it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, does anybody else have any questions? No?
Thank you for the class, Anabel.
Thank you guys for joining. And like I said, if you want to know any more information, or if you have any other questions, feel free to call me, and I'm happy to help.
Great
Gracias,
job.
Anabel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Great job, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
No lo voy a llamar, Héctor, porque me dijo que no le dije a Héctor.
Bye, guys. Thank
No,
you.
Roberto, please no. Manuel, no Héctor. Manuel.
Manuel, yo sabía que me ibas a oír, Manuel, yo sabía.
No, ya me iba, pero me regresé.
Dale, have a good one, guys. We'll talk later.
Un abrazo, gracias.
Thank you, guys. Good night.